Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much everybody for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who's listening in the podcast. It is Saturday, November 15, 2025. I want to come quickly and do this episode because when I heard about this story, guys, I couldn't even believe it. I couldn't even believe the type of negligence that happened here. And I'm gonna give you a trigger warning because this is in regards to somebody who was beaten to death, right? So I'm gonna give you that trigger warning before I continue. Thank you so much, everybody who is watching this video and listening using Spotify. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you want to also just listen and to the, I don't know how Spotify does it, like can you play the audio or you have to play the video. But just to let you know, the audio is also available on YouTube. Thank you so much to everybody who's watching right now on YouTube. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And everybody who's listening using other platforms like Apple Podcasts and Amazon Music, don't forget to follow the podcast. It helps me as a creator. And you can also join in. I believe the subscriptions are available on Spotify. So thank you guys so much. You can join in there and also on YouTube. So I give you the trigger warning because this is very sad actually, and it can happen to any of us, right? Um, we're so vulnerable. Life is so fragile, right? We have to be so careful, and we have to be right with the Lord because we really don't know. This is something that I always tell you guys. Really don't know what could happen. So this happened in the Bronx, and let me tell you because there's already have been a lawsuit about this, rightfully so. This thing that happened, it's like wow. So it says here, a heartbroken family has officially notified the city that they intend to sue after their loved one was beaten to death by a fellow patient at Lincoln Hospital in the Bronx. How can this happen, right? How can you be getting treatment at a hospital? And you guys know, hospital they always have those, the roommate, right? They always have the. It's very rarely that you see single rooms in a hospital, right? Regardless of insurance, like this is just normal, right? Very rarely, and they usually they have a roommate, and the rooms are pretty big because of that, right? And this woman went there. I'm gonna tell you more information, obviously. She goes there for treatment. This is what I'm saying. This can happen to any of us. Goes there for treatment. When you are in that type of setting in the hospital, a lot of the times, from what I learned, going to the hospital after my mom got sick, is that a lot of the medication given to patients that are there for whatever reason they could be, right? Usually it's mostly pain, right? They make you sleepy, right? And um, it, you get kind of like weak and you get tired, sleepy, trying to go through everything that you're dealing with at the moment. And her name is Cynthia Van. She was just 55 years old, and she was beaten to death by the roommate in the hospital as she was sleeping there. So that is so sad, you guys. I saw an interview of her daughter speaking. Heartbreaking. It's just heartbreaking that such a negligence, right? You would think that behavioral symptoms in people, especially when you are at the hospital getting treatment, it kind of pops up, right? I guess they do an assessment of people that go to the hospital for whatever reason that they're there, and an assessment will probably tell you the state of mind of somebody, right? And also, staff can communicate. Let's just say a nurse, right? And the nurse can be like, the patient in whatever room is a little hostile. They seem to be very aggressive, and they have very short patience, and we shouldn't put another person there, right? We should just give them that room by themselves. Maybe get some type of psych evaluation on that person or whatever, right? But this is what I'm saying. This is pure negligence. And let me continue to read here. Family members were back at the hospital on Thursday, nearly 2 months to the day since 55 years old Cynthia Van was brutally beaten to death while admitted there for treatment. This time they were joined by lawyers and community activists demanding justice. And they said, this is her family speaking, and they said, we will not go away. We will not let this sweep under the rug. We are here to be the consequence of what happens when injustice occurs, said the family attorney. Cynthia was admitted for liver condition in September, so it happened 2 months ago already. She was admitted there for a liver condition. The family got a call in the middle of the night saying that the 55-year-old was going into emergency surgery. What they didn't know was that the doctors were trying to control a brain bleed after Vaughn was beaten while she was sleeping by her roommate. The medical examiner ruled her death as a homicide caused by a blunt force trauma. And it says here that I have not yet been told how exactly it occurred, how or what was used to damage her in such a way, said the victim's mother, Rosemary. On Thursday, the family filed a notice to claim the first step in bringing the $20 million wrongful death lawsuit against the city. Just let me take a pause here. How can they not know? Like, what was used? Like, how can they not know what was used? And I'm trying to, I'm in my head, I'm scanning hospital rooms because when my mother got sick, it will be a very repetitive thing. So I will, you notice things in hospital rooms, and I'm like, what could she have used that would be so big like that? Unless one of those rolling tables or something like this, or even like a oxygen tank, maybe something like. It sounds more like an oxygen tank, but it's so sad that the family, that the patient went through this and that the family has to go through this. And I wonder, like, what went in there, right? And how much is going to be released, right? Because it's already been 2 months and the family doesn't know what object was used. Well, why is that not being released? They're trying to hide something? On Thursday, the family said they filed a notice of claim, the first step in bringing $20 million wrongful death suit against the city. Her roommate had previously been arrested for assaulting a staffer at the hospital, then allegedly attacking a nurse hours after Van had been beaten. So this is what I'm talking about, an assessment, right? There's a viral video going on right now, and it's about a pregnant lady who went to the ER, right? And as they're doing this assessment, right, she's basically in active labor right there in the reception desk, and there is no type of kind of like paperwork can always wait, especially when you have somebody who's actively in labor. People go through training for that, right? It's just that the love of many will grow cold. That's biblical, right? We're living in the last days, and I think that's what it is. People are just basically, they're just doing their, I'm just here for a paycheck, basically, and that's the mentality. It's the worst mentality to have, especially when you're dealing with people, medical conditions and treatment. And in that case of the viral video that I'm speaking about the pregnant woman who was basically in active labor, and the receptionist is completely ignoring her cry for help, screaming, just typing in information about her. It's like there should be a code that you call from the phone and say, I have a patient here, active labor, and everybody will come and help, right? What happened there? And in this case, they're saying the roommate had attacked somebody, was arrested for assault. Like, you basically put somebody next to her, so vulnerable, right? Who went there for liver treatment, for treatment on her liver, and this you have next to her, you have somebody who has a violent behavior, who already has been known in the let's just say that she can get violent with the nurses, right? That's an assessment, and I'm sure all of this is found in the patient chart, right? Because I don't know how they code it, but I'm sure they can put like some type of alert so that people know. And if they can do that in a patient chart, why not put that patient in a separate room? Why give them a roommate that, let's just say they can take their anger up on them, right? That's just complete negligence. it's so sad that she had to go through this. It's crazy, you guys. Let's just say here. They say in a statement, the hospital spoke and they say, New York City Health and Hospital Lincoln is committed to safety of its patients, staff, and visitors. And the family of Cynthia Vaughn said that is not good enough. The hospital has not responded at all to the family. They haven't even offered their condolences. Haven't said anything to the family, said civil rights leader Kevin McCall. It is very disheartening, very upsetting that you go through a place for care and this happened, said the victim's brother, Melvin. Yeah, it's very sad. It's very shocking, and for them to be very kind of like, okay, next patient, we'll take the next patient. That's, that's crazy, and that is another example of how humanity, the state of society these days, you can't just be so cruel like that and be like, oh well, next. Like the other episode that I told you about, my previous episode, I think it was about the guy, the man who died at the postal service machinery. Like I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe it. Like waiting, the fiance waiting 3 hours just to get help because he never came back from work. 3 hours and nobody was able to assist her. And then this patient is put in a room next to somebody who could have probably had a, who probably could have been sent to a different type of unit. And I'm sure you guys know what I'm referring to, because there's such an assessment that you go through when you go to a hospital, especially for treatment. And like I said, they know a lot of the times, if I'm sure that the staff is trained. If they notice some type of behavior on somebody, they will know the chart so that the next person who helps that patient will know, hey, this patient doesn't like to hear this that type of word, and they don't like to be asked a couple times, like, what can you spell your last name for me or something like this. Just be careful. Like, I'm surprised that this actually happened. So we'll see. We'll see if the hospital will provide a clear answer of to what exactly happened and what object was used in this case. So we pray for the family. I know this happened 2 months ago. It's still a very sad case. It's still very fresh too. It's very, it's very recent. It's still very sad. So let me know, guys, what you think about this. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming to the channel. Thank you to everybody who's listening to the podcast. Have a good day.